It was on the weekend in early July. Unusually, I got a call from my younger brother, Jacob. "Sorry, bro. I have a favor to ask." There was a hint of urgency in his voice. "What's up, Jacob? I've got work as a lifeguard at the beach tomorrow, Sunday. Can you cover for me?" "Wait, tomorrow? Why the sudden request?" Jacob is now in his sophomore year of college. He's a great swimmer and has been working as a lifeguard every summer since last year. "I slipped on the stairs and sprained my right ankle, so I can't make it to the beach." "Gotcha, alright, I'll step in for you." "Thanks, bro. My name is Mike. I graduated from college last year and joined a company that undertakes interior renovations for homes and commercial establishments. The company deals with interior renovations, building refurbishments, and also sells construction materials. I work in the business planning department, mainly gathering information on new products and materials from both domestic and international sources. Luckily, I have tomorrow off. I love the beach just as much as Jacob, and I used to work as a lifeguard during my college days. Covering for Jacob was no big deal. And then it's Sunday. The temperature had already surpassed 80 degrees Fahrenheit by morning. By midday, the beach was crowded. It was almost time for a break. I was heading towards a secluded spot near some rocks. That's when I noticed a straw hat fluttering in the wind beyond the rocks. Just after, a young girl chased after the hat, and the next moment, she fell into the water, fully clothed. Did she just fall in with her clothes on? She's in trouble. I have to help her. I sprinted to where I saw her. I dove into the water, grabbed the drowning girl's arm, and pulled her to safety. She was panicking and flailing, probably from the shock. That was scary. "It's okay now, just relax." That's when I started swimming towards the shore. Suddenly, I heard the roaring sound of an engine. "Wait, is that a jet ski? That's bad. It's heading straight to us and it's going fast." I pushed the girl with the floaty with all my might towards the shore. Immediately after, ouch, I felt a sharp pain in my head and lost consciousness. Next thing I knew, I was being rushed to the hospital in an ambulance someone had called. When I woke up, I was looking at a white ceiling and white walls. Where am I? My head felt foggy. Oh, I must have gotten injured while trying to save that drowning girl. Next to my bed, Jacob and Mom were sitting. When Jacob noticed I was awake, he shouted, "Bro, you're finally awake. Mom, go get the doc." Mom rushed out of the room in a hurry. "Bro, I'm sorry. If I hadn't asked you to cover my shift, this wouldn't have happened." Jacob looked like he was about to cry and bowed his head. "Don't apologize. It's not your fault." Soon after, Mom and the attending doctor entered the room. According to the doctor, a jet ski had grazed my head, and a wave pushed me into a rock, injuring my head. Full recovery in a month. Apparently, I still need to be hospitalized for a while. What about the girl? Is she okay? She's fine. The girl's mother called the ambulance for you. That's a relief. The next day, a beautiful woman in her 30s visited the hospital. "Thank you, Mike, for saving my daughter." That must be the girl's mother. "Is your daughter okay? Did she get hurt?" "Thanks to you, she didn't have a scratch, but I heard about your injury. How can I ever apologize?" Tears welled up in her eyes as she kept bowing in gratitude. "Oh, I'll be fine in about a month. Please, no more apologies." She stopped bowing. The woman handed me a thick envelope with money to cover the cost for my hospital stay, which seemed to have about $10,000. "I can't accept this. Lifeguards have insurance, so I'm good." So I asked her to take it back. After a while, I was finally discharged. "Bro, that scar on your forehead is quite noticeable," Jacob pointed out, and when I looked in the mirror, there was a 2-inch scar near my left temple. The next day, when I went to work, I was called into HR. Though it was an unforeseen accident, I had been absent for a month. I expected some sort of reprimand, but they said, "Mike, You've been transferred. Wait, transferred? I was sent to a subsidiary in Nebraska that deals with interior construction materials. My job was to manage the materials ordered by the headquarters and deliver them to our affiliates. Basically, it was like warehouse management. Since then, every day was just about getting through the same routine at work. I wonder when I can return to the headquarters. As I spent each day brooding, about 4 months later, I received a postcard. It was an invitation to the wedding party of my high school buddy, Ken. Well, he's getting hitched too. I bet many of our old classmates will be there. This will be a nice change of pace. That's what I thought, looking forward to my friend's wedding day. As the day arrived, excited about seeing my classmates after such a long time, I headed to the venue. On my way there, is that her? I bumped into a familiar face on the train. Is that Natalie? As I called out, she turned around. Oh my, Mike, it's been ages. Back in high school, Natalie and I were both on the swim team. When we became seniors, I was the captain of the boys' team and Natalie was the captain of the girls' team. She quickly noticed a scar on my forehead and asked, Mike, how did you get that scar? When I told her about the day I worked as a lifeguard, filling in for my brother, she said, that's so like you, Captain Mike. I bet for that girl, you became a hero. Feeling a bit embarrassed, I replied, oh come on, it's not like that, don't tease me, and laughed it off. At the wedding reception, many asked about the scar on my forehead. Then Robert, who got a job at a local printing plant, said with a smirk, Mike, I heard even though you landed a job at a big company, you're just managing inventory in some rural place. Did you mess up? Demoted. He was always the kind to look down on others. As I thought, some things never change. Natalie and a few others started saying, Robert, was that really necessary? Robert, that's low, and there was a commotion. Feeling outnumbered, Robert quickly retreated to another table. Except for Robert, my classmates treated me like a hero for risking my own safety to save a girl. The wedding turned out to be a pleasant diversion for me. However, once I returned to my daily life, the monotony continued. Day after day, it's just inventory management. I started thinking, soon all this inventory stuff will be done by AI, and they'll probably cut jobs here. These were the anxious thoughts that occupied my mind. After the wedding, I kept in touch with Natalie. During our conversations, I learned she worked for a renovation company. As our jobs were similar, we had a lot to talk about. We discussed interior designs, and despite differences in our clientele, our discussions were always captivating. Natalie, you always put in the effort to learn. That hasn't changed since high school. She replied, Mike, you know a lot about imported materials. I really need to learn more and expand my knowledge, showing genuine interest in our conversations. Before long, we started going out to various places, just the two of us. Eventually, we started hanging out more, whether it was going to cafes or theme parks, but our discussions inevitably turned to work topics like, the artwork on this wallpaper is so tasteful, or the color combination of this flooring and door is impeccable. Spending time with Natalie, who I could easily talk to, was truly enjoyable and precious. Though my personal life was quite fulfilling, my professional life was not. Unbelievably, the situation I had dreaded came true. The company decided to leave all stock management to AI, and once again, I was handed a transfer order. Now they're sending me to handle order management at a regional subsidiary. They keep moving me around. I realized I'd probably never return to the headquarters. I guess employees like me, just a cog in the machine, are replaceable, right? On the day my transfer was confirmed, I had plans to have dinner with Natalie. I dreaded breaking the news of my transfer to her. With that in mind, it's best to tell her sooner rather than later. So I told her, Natalie, they've decided to transfer me to a regional subsidiary. Natalie hesitated for a moment before asking, is that what you want, Mike? Do you think you'll find meaningful work there? Honestly, I hadn't really considered that. Meaningful work. I doubt it. While I struggled to find words, Natalie continued. What do you really want to do, Mike? What I want to do? That question brought back memories. When I first joined my current company, I'd spent every day visiting different commercial buildings, aiming to develop my own design style. On days off, I'd even travel to commercial centers in other states, seeking as much feedback as possible from store owners and managers. It was a hectic time, but I felt so fulfilled back then. I don't think the next place will have what I'm looking for. Upon hearing this, Natalie looked me squarely in the eyes and said, Mike, how about we hire you? Do you want to fully engage in what you love at our place? What? Their place? Did she mean she'd introduce me to her company? As I stood there confused, Natalie handed me a business card. Renovation Inc., Vice President, Natalie Sawyer. Wait, Vice President? Surprised, I kept glancing between the card and Natalie. She chuckled and explained, it's my dad's company. He's more of a hands-on craftsman type, so I mainly handle the communication with our partners and employees. Apparently, she began working part-time at her dad's firm right after starting college and fell in love with the job. My dad probably wanted my brother to take over, but he became an internist, so I decided I'd work twice as hard to make up for it, she shared. She went on. Having been in this industry for 5 years and talking with you, Mike, I think you're incredibly knowledgeable and curious. Working with someone like you could really make our company something special. By the time she finished speaking, everything had sunk in for me. Without any hesitation or doubt, I decided to join Natalie's company. Her father, the CEO, was just as I'd heard, a quiet craftsman at heart. Despite being the head of the company, he spent most of his time on site, valuing hands-on work. That's why the CEO is rarely in the office. Most of the in-house affairs were handled by Natalie. She had always been an overachiever, having been admitted to a top-tier university right out of high school. She managed everything from finance, negotiations with partners, marketing, to general affairs all by herself. I did go to college, but as a scholarship athlete in swimming, I barely studied. I only began studying the renovation industry after joining last year, so I still had a lot to learn. I can't wait to start working as Natalie's right-hand man. With that determination, I made a fresh start. It's been a month since I began working at her company. Finally, I'm getting the hang of the job. One evening, Natalie gave me a call. Mike, I'm sorry. My brother said he's coming to the company tomorrow. She sounded pretty panicked. I mean, it's fine. Why are you apologizing? When I asked, she explained. Her brother is 12 years older than her and extremely overprotective, almost excessively so. Apparently, when she told him she was dating someone from the company, he said, I'm gonna see what kind of guy he is with my own eyes tomorrow, and then hung up. I see, so I'm getting interviewed by her brother tomorrow. Haven't been this nervous in a while. I joked, which finally made Natalie laugh. I have a younger brother, 3 years apart, so I don't know what it's like to have a sister. Given the age gap, he must really dote on her. With those thoughts, I went to bed that night. The next day, just about 20 minutes before lunchtime, her brother showed up. He immediately asked about my college and then made a face. What, you went to that uni for sports freaks? He scoffed. What's wrong with that? Mike was the only one from our school to make it to the state championships in high school. Besides, the college has nothing to do with his job, Natalie quickly retorted. But there's no way I can approve of a guy who's dumber than my sister, her brother insisted. Just then, a woman holding a little girl's hand walked in. Both the woman and I looked at each other in surprise. Wait a minute, isn't that the girl and her mom from the beach? Oh, Mike, I can't thank you enough for what you did. The girl's mother rushed over, deeply bowing her head. Thanks to you, Rita's been able to live her life happily. After hearing that, Natalie's brother looked shocked and asked, What, "You're the one who saved Rita's life," and then looked at me again. His wife added, "The scar on Mike's forehead is from when he saved Rita. I don't know how to apologize for such a large scar." Thanks to her explanation, it seemed he finally understood. "Mike, I deeply apologize for my earlier rude remarks," he said, bowing his head. "No, it's okay. I have a brother too, so I can understand how you feel about your sister. Please, raise your head." Things finally started making sense in my head. Turns out he's not only Natalie's brother, but also the father of the girl, Rita, whom I'd saved at the beach. Later on, Natalie and I enjoyed the fancy steak lunch that her brother and his wife had brought as a gesture of gratitude. "Good thing I got your brother's approval," I told her with a sigh of relief. "Who would have thought that you had saved my niece? My brother won't have any issues with you now," Natalie said with a laugh. After that, thanks to Natalie's brother, I was able to attend night classes at an interior design school. As a token of gratitude for saving little Rita, Natalie's brother paid the full tuition for me. Being fairly new to the home renovation industry, I gratefully accepted his generosity. Now, I may be recognized as the man who saved Rita, but someday I want to be recognized as Natalie's right-hand man at work. And also as a man who can support her. I'm determined to prove myself to her brother and the boss. I made this promise to myself once again.